There it is. That's the theme song, huh? Gonna go with the Sweet Caroline action on it. All right, that's what we'll do. Hello, I'm Chris Peak. I'm the publisher of PantherLair.com. This is the Panther Lair Show, the debut episode of the Panther Lair Show here on TribLIVE Radio. Glad you could tune in and watch and listen to us here on TribLIVE Radio. In case you don't know what we're going to do here, we're going to talk Pitt sports. As I said, I'm the publisher of PantherLair.com. It's Panther-Lair.com on the internet, Pittsburgh.rivals.com. It's the internet's most comprehensive source of Pitt sports news. All we do is cover Pitt sports, football, basketball, and recruiting. If you're a Pitt fan, it's a place you need to be to get all your content and information each day. And then once a week on Thursdays, 2 to 3 p.m. here on TribLIVE Radio, we're going to gather for the Panther Lair Show. We're going to talk about Pitt sports. I'm going to tell you what I think. You can call us at 412-320-7925. You can tweet me at PantherLair, PANTHERLAIR, or tweet TribLIVE Radio. You can download the TribLIVE Radio app and email us. There's all kinds of ways to get in touch and interact. And we'll talk Pitt sports for an hour a week. It's a show that won't have anything to do with the other sports. I talk to Pitt fans all the time, and I hear Pitt fans tell me about how they just want more Pitt talk. They don't want Steelers or Penguins or Pirates. No disrespect to those teams because we all like watching them, but they just want Pitt talk. Well, that's what this is. This is your show, Pitt fans. It's an opportunity to talk Pitt sports, football, basketball, and recruiting. And we got lots of exciting stuff. We're going to have a good time with this. Here on this first episode, of course, we'll talk about basketball. That's the big topic. Later, I think around the bottom of the hour, we're going to hear from Paul Chryst, the Pitt head football coach. Talk to him about spring camp coming up, talk about the decision to not have a spring game this year, and I'll offer some thoughts on that as well. And we'll have the Recruit of the Week. It's a feature we're going to do, or hopefully going to do every week, where we talk to a recruit that either is coming to play for Pitt this summer or maybe a junior that they're targeting, a kid who's already committed. Football and basketball, we're going to, you read interviews with recruits in the newspaper or on the website. This is an opportunity to hear it from themselves, hear it from them yourself, hear what they have to say, what they think about Pitt, if they're planning on going to Pitt, et cetera, et cetera. So that'll be cool. I think you'll enjoy that if you like following recruiting. And let's be honest, you're a college sports fan. The two biggest questions for college sports fans are, if my team is good, how can we stay good? And if my team is bad, how can they get better? And the answer to both of those questions is recruiting. So we'll give you an opportunity with the Recruit of the Week segment each week to learn about who's coming to help Pitt in the future. But we got to start off today's episode, of course, with basketball. That's the biggest story in town as far as Pitt sports goes. You know the deal with Pitt basketball right now. You know the situation. 22-8 overall, 10-7 in the ACC, and they've got one game to play. They lost to NC State. They lost to Florida State. They more or less held on to beat Boston College and Notre Dame. In between those two, barely, I don't want to say barely got by. They beat Boston College by 7, but didn't exactly feel comfortable in either of those two wins. And now they're going to Clemson on Saturday for a must-win game. And quite frankly, their game after that in the ACC tournament is probably a must-win. I think 24 wins has to be the target at this point for this Pitt basketball team, because if you look at Pitt in a vacuum, I'm not so sure they're a tournament team at this point. Take out the strength of the bubble and everything like that, because when we hear about Pitt's bubble talk, we hear about, well, the other bubble teams aren't that strong, although they all seem to be winning right now at a time when it hurts Pitt. But take out the strength of the bubble talk and just look at Pitt in a vacuum and ask yourself, are they an NCAA tournament team right now on Thursday afternoon? I'm not so sure that they are. You look at the elements that the NCAA selection committee supposedly values, the things we always hear about, and Pitt doesn't really stack up. I mean, the committee values the non-conference strength of schedule. I looked at CBS Sports this morning. They ranked Pitt's non-conference strength of schedule 232nd in the nation. The committee supposedly values strong play down the stretch. Well, Pitt's 4-6 in the last 10, and they've lost 3 in a row at home. The committee, supposedly values quality wins, and Pitt's got 1. Barely, because Stanford is falling. So that's Pitt's 1 quality win. They have 5 wins inside the RPI top 100, only 1 inside the top 50. They're 1-6 versus the RPI top 50. They're 5-8 versus the RPI top 100 overall. That's not good. They have no bad losses, although you can question about FSU and NC State. But they don't have any good wins. 2 losses in the 51-100 range, and both of those were at home. It's not good, and those happened recently. Those are all questionable games and issues for Pitt that they're going to have to overcome when the NCAA selection committee sits down in 2 weeks on Selection Sunday. So this team has gone from one with lots of hype and enthusiasm to one that is really firmly on the bubble. And how did it happen? How did they get from that point to this point. I've got some thoughts on that and the job Jamie Dixon has done this season, but I'd like to hear from you as well. 412-320-7925 or on Twitter at Panther Lair or at TribLIVE Radio. It's the Panther Lair Show, and we'll be right back on TribLIVE Radio.